absolute marvelous morning. Yes, this is Edwina B., the Cuckoo for Cocoa Pops lady, here with you this January the 4th of 2023. Even though y'all think it's a new year, not me. It's a new day. That's how simple I keep it, because God woke me up this morning, woke you up this morning to rejoice and be glad in this day. Okay? And so I thank God that I can breathe. I can move my limbs. I can hear. I can see. I can taste. I can touch. I can feel the presence of the Lord. Yes, thank you. And so, as a result, y'all know who I am, right? Or do you? Guess what? I don't even know who I am, because being a part of a 12-step spiritual program for the past 32 plus years, one day at a time, and now incorporating the 5 agreements in my life of recovery. Woo! I'm on fire! Yes, I am. And so I do not represent Alcoholics Anonymous, nor do I represent the 5 agreements. It's all about spiritual wisdom, and I am hungry for it. Hungry for spiritual wisdom. And so when we first come into recovery, right? No, before we come into recovery, we wear all of these masks and more masks, depend upon what society says, depend upon what your friends say, depend upon what your family say. But who really knows anybody? Because everybody are wearing masks. And so one of the things that helped me begin to remove the mask on February the 22nd of 1990 in the streets of Philadelphia, getting high with my stepson and doing all kinds of sexual favors for him. Yes, we were both in our addiction, and we definitely were out of our minds. However, when everything was said and done, he proceeded to treat me like any bitch in the street and want to do harm to me. And I started running for my life. Yes, at age 34, I'm running in the streets 3 o'clock in the morning in Mount Airy, Philadelphia, from my stepson to keep him from harming me, maybe killing me, I don't know. But when I saw the parked cars, I got a flashback from my past. If I just get underneath that car, he can't get to me. Because as a child, I would hide under the bed when I was afraid, when I didn't want to see my father, when I was playing house and peekaboo and all that kind of stuff, right? The flashback from my past came forward, and I put myself underneath that parked car. And let me tell you, honey, woo! That's when my life flashed before me. How at the age of 34 did you get underneath a parked car, Edwina? Dogs and cats go underneath parked cars, right? And I said to myself, what happened to me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? No, I didn't say what happened to me. I said, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? And as my life flashed before me, having dreams of being a physical ed teacher, wanting to be a model or actress, right? I was the vice president of my class, right? Voted most likely to succeed. I was the co-captain of the cheerleader team, right? But they were all masked, because I didn't know who Edwina was. And am still discovering who she is now. So when I hollered out these words, whoever they say you are, take me out this life now or show me a better way. I was taught that God was a punishing God. God's going to get you, Edwina, because you're bad, bad, bad. So I didn't know anything personally about a God, but I tell you this, I was ready to either live or die, but not according to what I wanted. It was according to this God that I didn't know what he had planned for me. And when I hollered out those words, take me out this life or show me a better way, on February the 23rd of 2023, we will be celebrating 33 years. So it was under that car that I began to take off the mask. You ready? Yes. No hair. Where's my towel? No makeup, right? No. I want to take off the mask. And I said to God, take me as I am. I don't need the wig. I don't need the makeup. I don't even need these dentures. No, my God loves me just the way I am. And guess what, y'all? I love me too. That's why I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Pops, because I love me today. Yes, I do. But I have to use these to pronunciate and articulate my words, okay? So, being a part of the 12-step spiritual programs every day, we are introduced to a new daily reflection reading that's specific for this day. And I will be, as you know, reading that this morning and dissecting it and giving you my perspective as a result of my journey and my process of practicing these principles in all my affairs. Everyone could benefit from a 12-step spiritual program because just about everybody are using them, right? You have Narcotics Anonymous, Sex Anonymous, Love Anonymous, Cocaine Anonymous, Work Anonymous, Shopping Anonymous. They all use the same 12 spiritual principles. And guess what? When we are honest and open-minded and become willing to do any and everything to lift that obsession or whatever addiction we have, we want to be free. And from free stands for me, from recovery, emerge empowered. And when you become empowered, you are to give hope to others, help others prosper equally, right? And so recently I stumbled across, I call it divine intervention, the 5 agreements by the Ruiz family. Don Miguel Ruiz, right? And the 5 agreements. And where is it? I think I gave it to somebody, all right? And so we're going to dive into what we are supposed to be doing this morning, okay? So first, I just want to pause and quiet my mind. Quiet my thoughts. Pray that God allows me to be used as an instrument. So let's hold that moment of silence. Thank you. I try not to be so excited, right? And all up and down and everywhere, but I can't help it because I'm excited about life. I'm excited about my journey, and I'm excited that my God loves me and accepts me just the way I am. And I have learned to do the same thing. So the mask must come off, except for the COVID-19 mask, right? So continue to wear your mask on that one, right? Okay, let's not be ignorant, right? Let's use some common sense, as the Ruiz family would talk about in the 5 agreements. Okay, so let's get ready to review the daily reflection for today. Okay, and y'all know that I normally read it first, okay, and then I will dissect it, right? So first of all, let me show you that today's reflection is for January the 4th, and it comes from AA Daily Reflections, and the topic is begin where you are. Begin where you are, all right? And if you want to do your own research, as one of the 5 agreements says, be skeptical, but listen, but learn to listen. I got it backwards, but learn to listen. So do your own research and go to aa.org to do your own research on Alcoholics Anonymous, right? And then it's going to be followed by me including the 5 agreements. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. Always do your best. Be skeptical, but learn to listen. All right? And so let's go with the reading for today. We feel that elimination of our drinking is but a beginning. A much more important demonstration of our principle lies in us, in our respective homes, occupations, and affairs. This is from AA, page 19. And the alcoholic in recovery shares his perspective by saying, it's usually pretty easy for me to be pleasant to the people in an AA setting. While I'm working to stay sober, I'm celebrating with my fellow AAs our common release from the hell of drinking. It's often not so hard to spread glad tidings to my old and new friends in the program. At home or at work, though, it can be a different story. It is in situations arising in both of those areas that the little day-to-day frustrations are most evident, and where it can be tough to smile or reach out with a kind word or an attentive ear. It's outside of the AA rooms that I face the real test of the effectiveness of my walk through AA's 12 steps. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Okay. Now, let's go to the 5 agreements briefly, all right? And to show you what and how I will be incorporating them in my perspective for the daily reflections. Okay. All right. Okay, let's go here. The 5 agreements. Go to www.miguel, M-I-G-U-E-L, Ruiz, that's MIGUEL, to do your own research. So here are the 5 agreements briefly. 1, be impeccable with your word. Speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. Example 1, I was told I will never be nothing, and they were right. Example 2, did you hear that Mary and Joe are having an affair? Agreement number 2, don't take anything personally. Nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality, their own dream. When you are immune to the opinion and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering. Example 1, my mother said I was just like my dad. Bad, right? And then example number 2 is you, let me see. Come on now, come on. I can't see. Okay. Okay. Agreement number 3. Don't make assumptions. Find the courage to ask questions and to express what you really want. Communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings, sadness, and drama. With just this one agreement, you can completely transform your life. Example 1, he is late because he is cheating on me. Example number 2, even though I studied, I know I failed that test. Agreement number 4, always do your best. If we implement the above 3 agreements, your best is going to change from moment to moment. It will be different when you are healthy as opposed to sick. Under any circumstances, simply do your best, and you will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. Example 1, Forrest Gump, remember him? Happy doing all he did without rewards. Example number 2, I will make every effort not to miss my AA meetings, one day at a time. All right. And so you see, let's go here. Okay. Let's remove this. Let's go here. And so, as you saw in the reflection reading for today, as well as the 5 agreements, how important it is to integrate the wisdom, right? And they are interrelated. And so I'm going to show you how I have been taken to a higher spiritual wisdom level by incorporating the 5 agreements and applying them to the reflection reading for today. So let's go here. All right. So let's go here. All right. And let's do this, y'all. All right. So let's do this. All right. Nope. I don't want to do that. I think I want to do this. All right. So, okay. Let's go. Woo! January the 4th, daily reflections. Begin where you are. Okay. And I'm going to incorporate the 5 agreements. And from AA Alcoholics Anonymous, page 19, one of our co-founders wrote, "We feel that elimination of our drinking is but a beginning. We feel that elimination of our drinking is but a beginning." Now, if you remember, I believe it was January the 2nd, where it said first the foundation, right? And first the foundation was equivalent to putting down the drink, okay? And so now that we have put down the drinking, some of us we feel that elimination of our drinking is but a beginning. But a beginning doesn't say the end. It doesn't say everything is over with. It doesn't say we're finished. It's just a beginning, right? Now here goes the hit. A much more important demonstration of our principles lies before us in our respective homes, occupation, and affairs. So let me break that down from my perspective, right? And so in Alcoholics Anonymous and my 12-step meeting and my journey, right, we practice learning, embracing, internalizing, evaluating, dissecting these 12 spiritual principles, right? And so the purpose of the 12 spiritual principles is to do what Donald Lawrence says in his song called Spiritual. He says, you are not a natural being having a spiritual experience. You are a spiritual being living and walking this natural experience, right? And so the purpose of the 12 spiritual principles, coupled with and including the 5 agreements, teach us how to apply these spiritual principles to our earthly journey. And with the 5 agreements, they say that we are artists, and life is our canvas where we can create our authentic self and make that artistry within us, right, and apply it to this life journey. So when we apply these spiritual principles and practice them on a daily basis, it is a much more important demonstration of how our principles lie before us in our respective homes, occupations, and affairs. And so in recovery, we learn to be impeccable with our word, right? Most of us, to some degree or another, lie all the time. A lie is a lie. I don't care if you what. And I believe we are going to be liars till the day we die unless we practice being impeccable with our word. And what the 5 agreements, particularly this one, is saying, don't sin against yourself. Right? Don't sin against others. Be impeccable with your word. Words mean something today. And just like in the example, if I said to myself, Edwina, you'll never be nothing, I'm going to believe it because I said it. No, practicing being impeccable with my word says, Edwina, you can do anything. All you have to do is try your best, right? And so when I try my best and acknowledging the negative thoughts and the negative actions and behaviors that I'm doing, I need to reverse that and replace it with something positive, something meaningful, something inspirational, something that's motivating, right? And you see, with the negative, you're like, with the positive, no. Be impeccable with your word. Do not sin against yourself. And when you learn not to sin against yourself, you will practice not sinning against anybody else, because our word, right, means something, okay? And recovery, when we're doing the spiritual principles, it also teaches us not to take anything personally. Oh my God. If you look back to your life, and that's what is so great about the 4-step inventory, we first thought that something was wrong with us. No, we needed to find out what happened to us, right? And so when we look back to what happened with us, what was our environment? We were born into this world. We were given our parents. We were given our gender. We was given our culture, our race, right? We were given those things. We had no choice in them, right? And so when we think about the respective homes that we grew up in, we need to realize where those attitudes, ideas, and behaviors, a lot of them, if not majority of them, were negative. And according to the 5 agreements, they were all lies. But you got to read the book and listen to the CDs to get a better understanding. And so because in my 4th step, I was able to go back and relive and rehash my experience. But guess what? From an adult mind, not a childish mind, right? Because my perspective as a child and my perspective now as a result of the 12 spiritual principles and now the 5 agreements has changed. I can learn from it. I can evaluate it, and I can see that that was not me. Right? That was not me. And I tried, like everybody else, to wear all these different masks to accommodate everybody. So where was Edwina? Where is Edwina? This journey is revealing more and more of who I am by not taking anything personally, whether it be a praise or whether it be a criticism. Because it's that person opinion, and we don't know from where it comes from, right? Okay, and so when we talk about practicing these principles in all our affairs, we learn not to take or make assumptions. So when it says begin where you are, Edwina. Even though I'm coming up on 33 years on February the 23rd, I only have the day. I only have this minute. I'm going to begin where I am right now. You're breathing. You have life. It is a gift. There are some who are worse off, and there are some, you believe, who are better off. We don't know, because I am where I am right now. People often say, I want to be here, I want to be there. No, look down at your feet. Where are you? Begin where you are. And so as a result of me beginning where I am right here, right now, I am showing you, demonstrating to you, and guess what? It's really helping me. I hope you get some help, but I'm helping me, right? Because it is about me and using these 12 spiritual principles on myself first, applying these 5 agreements to myself first. I have to start with self. Right? So I need to begin with me, right? And so as a result of learning these spiritual principles and now incorporating the 5 agreements, I want to practice not making any assumptions. I'm going to do this. I am motivated. I'm on fire, because I will stop practicing making assumptions. I can, I will, I must. Why? Because I am the artist of my life, and the canvas is this journey called life. Okay, and so when we talk about practicing these principles in all our affairs, it will start at home. But listen to what the writer says. He says, it's usually pretty easy for me to be pleasant to the people in an AA setting. Why? Right? So when you come to a 12-step program, and you are involved with other people who suffer from the same now no disease of alcoholism, right? Or the disease of addiction, you feel somewhat more comfortable being around them because we understand what you went through and why you're here, right? So it's usually pretty easy to be pleasant to people who have a lot in common, okay? Now, it also goes to say, right, even even in our 12-step program, it says, while I'm working on working to stay sober, I'm celebrating with my fellow AAs our common release from the hell of drinking, right? And so when you go to the 12-step program of overeaters or workaholics or love anonymous or sex anonymous, you are among the people who are going through the same hell that you went through, right? And so we are celebrating the recovery in that particular area, okay? And so we begin to be impeccable with our word because we want to stay sober and we want to help others achieve sobriety. We don't want to take anything personally because when our emotions get all in the way, we go to drinking, we go to shopping, we go and do this and doing that. And those are all negative things instead of doing something positive, right? We make all kinds of assumptions, right? I'm not going to make it. He said I'm not going to make it. My family said I'm not going to make it. Don't make assumptions, right? And so we learn to do our best by beginning where we are, right? And so when he says it's often not so hard to spread glad tidings to my old and new friends in the program. It's often not so hard to spread glad tidings to my old and new friends in the program, okay? And so that means that people we know are in the program will come to the program, and then we will meet new friends in the program. And so we are changing our environment. We are replacing people, places, and things who are working together for the common goal of being free, being set free, all right? And so we find that it's not hard to do that. However, at home or at work, though, it can be a different story. Why is that? Let's start with home. That's where we learned all of our fundamental thoughts, ideas, behaviors, attitude. Okay, and now that we have this newfound wisdom, and as a result of being humiliated by our drinking and coming to our knees and professing that He is and He will and He can, right, relieve us of this horrendous obsession and compulsion. But when we deal with our families, some families are just as addicted to chaos and drama, if not the more, right? Because this is where we spend the most time, and this is who we spend the most time with in our homes, with our family, right? And so it is a different story because now when it says in the 12th tradition, in the 12th step to practice these principles in all our affairs, that means we only spend 1 hour in a meeting. 1 hour in a meeting, right? And so when we spend that 1 hour in a meeting, we begin to hear the ups and downs, the lows, the highs, but we're not drinking. We are encouraging and supporting one another, right? Because we have this newfound wisdom, right? However, when we leave that hour and we have to go and live the other 23 hours, oh boy, that's why they say practice, practice, practice. And the first place we practice is at home, okay? And so when we do our home, then most of us have work. So I got to go. I got a minute, all right? And so let me finish saying, it is in situations arising in both of these areas that the little day-to-day frustrations are most evident, and where it can be tough to smile or reach out with a kind word or an attentive ear. It's outside of the AA rooms that I face the real test of the effectiveness of my walk through AA's 12 steps. That's it in a nutshell. Practice these spiritual principles in all our affairs. We can do this. We have been doing it, right? I've been doing it for close to 33 years. And I always say, and I mean this from the depths of my soul, we learn not to give anything or anybody that much power ever again to make us go back to drinking. Now we don't want to give anything or anybody that much power to steal our joy, right? To steal our peace, to steal our tranquility. But how can we combat that, right? By utilizing the 12 spiritual principles and now incorporating the 5 agreements. I hope you got something out of this today, because you know where I'm about ready to go. I'm about ready to go to my meeting. Until we see each other again, begin where you are. Mm-hmm.